Hello students, we're finally adding fractions. Before we begin to add fractions, I want you to be able to take notes and understand that there's two different kinds of addition of fractions. We can add fractions that have the same number on the bottom of the fraction or the same denominator on the bottom, or we can also add fractions that have different denominators. Look at the picture of the pizza on your right. As you can see, we have a pizza that has 1/4 taken out and then another 1/4 taken out. If we were going to join both pieces together, then 1/4 plus 1/4 will come up to be 2/4. What did we do? Well, look at the denominators of the 1/4. Both of them had a 4 underneath, so they have the same denominator. 1 plus 1 on the top was 2. So the only thing we really did was to add the numbers on the top and leave the bottom the same. The same goes for the same example on this slide, in which we're trying to add 5/18 to 7/18. Our solution will be, if we have 5/18 plus 7/18, this will come out to be 12/18. 12/18, as we learned in the prior module, can be simplified or reduced to a more workable or smaller fraction. In this case, we divide by 2, we'll get 6/9. Then if we divide by 3, we'll get 2/3, and that will be our smallest fraction. Now we can also add fractions with different denominators. There's more steps to it, and this is normally when students get confused. Step 1 is to add the fractions with different denominators. We first need to rewrite the fractions as equivalent fractions with a common denominator. Remember, you cannot add fractions or sum fractions together if the denominator is different. You first need to transform the denominator to be the same. Then we add the numerators and place the sum over the common denominator. In order to do this, we have to find the LCM, or the least common multiple of the denominators of the fractions. For example, if we have two fractions such as 5/8 and 7/9, first, we will need to write equivalent fractions using 72, which is the LCM of the denominator. Then on step 2, as you can see, we already have two fractions with the denominator 72. Now is the time in which we can add. This will go to our first example on the prior slide, in which the denominators were the same. Now we can add the top, 45 plus 56, and then leave the bottom the same. This will be 101/72. You can give your answer as a decimal, as a mixed number, or as a fraction. It all depends what your instructor wants you to do in the problem, or what type of problems, what is the solution, what they're asking in the problem. We can also do addition fractions with mixed numbers. This is normally applied more to word problems. Don't worry, we're going to go through the next two types of addition, the one that has the same numerators and denominators, and the other one that has different denominators. I'll see you in the blackboard. Alright, here we are. We're going to do addition. Remember, there's two different kinds of types of addition. One in which the denominators are the same, and we don't have to do anything else but adding the numbers on the top. And then other kinds of addition of fractions in which the denominators are different. In that case, we need to find the LCM. And then try to add the fractions and reduce. The first type is shown here. 5/18 plus 7/18. these fractions can be added together right away because the denominator is the same. In the case in which the denominator is the same, you just need to add the top numbers. 5 plus 7 is 12. And then leave the same denominator. That's it. You're done with the first type. Now let's try the second type. The second type is a little more involved, so we will need more space on the blackboard. Alright, let's go. Let's start easy with something small, like 5/8 plus 7/9. Now my question to you is this. Can you add these two fractions right now? Unfortunately, no. Because look at the denominators. They're not the same number. That means we still have to work or do more work on them. We need to find the LCM of 8 and 9. There's different ways to find the LCM of 8 and 9. But when there's little numbers, in addition of the 3, you can also do it with the multiplication tables. How do you do it with the multiplication tables? You need to find a number that is common to both 8 and 9, but is the least common multiple of the two. If you follow the multiplication tables, you will learn that 72 is the LCM of 8 and 9. I like to put my fractions like this, so I know what's going to come out at the end. You can actually do this and put 72 already because you know that no matter what fraction you get at the end, before simplification, you're going to get 72 as the LCM or the denominator. Now this is the part that it is the most difficult to follow, so put attention. We take 72 from the first fraction that we're going to have, and we divide it by 8. Why 8? Because 8 is the first fraction. This gives us 9. And then 9, we're going to multiply by the numerator. This gives us 45. So we're going to put here 45 on our first fraction. The same thing we do for the second fraction. We take 72 from the second fraction, and then we're going to divide by 9 from the second fraction. This will give us 8. And now we're going to multiply 8 by 7. Eight times 7 is 56. So we give 56 over here. Now that we have two fractions that have the same denominator, I will ask you again, can we add these fractions? Yes, of course. So the only thing we need to do is we need to add the numbers 45 and 56. This gives us 101 over 72. We're almost done. Now you can give this, you can leave it as 101, 72 in a problem, or if your instructor asks you to turn this into a decimal, you can divide it with a calculator. In which case it will be 1.4. Or you could also transform it into a smaller fraction by reducing terms or into a mixed number. Let's do more in the next lesson.